Howdy. Going to do a little video disassembling this SP-8. It's an ion-based marker. I got this one at X Factor Paintball Parks Pro Shop. Traded an old loader for it because Jeff at the shop hates ions. And this is an ion-based marker. And because I was short of electronic boards at the time, I converted it to be mechanical, which I'll show you a little bit when I get in there. But yeah, that's about it. So I'm going to start by taking off the barrel, which is board for, you'll see Freak XL inserts because it is a rather long barrel, and because it goes inside the shroud, I didn't want the little 5-inch insert falling out easy. There's no O-ring in these Freak board barrels, done by BMC Fabrication. I think he's in Oregon, maybe. And yep, worked out pretty well. One thing about these SP-8 barrels is that apparently these, whatever this is at the front, I don't know what you'd call this, suppressor, sort of cutouts, can bend in and start breaking paint. So I gotta be careful with that. Put that aside. All right, so disassembling this gun, one thing about it is this looks like it might be a mag-fed gun, but it's actually got an ion regulator in there, just your standard ion regulator. I'm gonna go ahead and just disassemble that, take that out. Something that I did on a lot of my ions is because I wanted to use these direct mount custom products ASAs, which are really good, and give a little extension on the back for my long arms so that I don't have to use a tank extender. I did have to drill and tap the bottom of this grip frame to get it to where I want it to be, but actually right now I've got it on the original holes so that I can use my little tank that I've got, peanut tank that I got for my kid, but now I'm using myself. This is already a pretty heavy gun, so I use a little tank on it, and I don't shoot a whole lot because it's mechanical and I play rec ball with it. All right, to remove the shroud, you have to remove these little retaining pins. I actually lost one of these, and I messaged Smart Parts, and they sent me like about 8 of them, and you only need 2. So if you guys are an SP-8 that's missing these, just message me and I will send you a couple. I've got the silver ones along with the blackout ones. If you don't have one of these and you don't want to deal with messaging me, you can just use a little bit of macro line, cut it to fit, and shove it right in there, and it will work just fine. And you just got to push it out with a wrench or something. Shroud comes off, and we'll see the rest of that in a second. Take out the other pin. It's here on the back. One of the upgrades or just accessories you can get for this gun is a little stock that replaces the back here. I'm going to use a little nylon spudge and push this sucker out because it's not coming out. All right, push that out. This comes off, and now we just got to remove the doohickeys, the bolts on there. And these are actually not the 1/8 inch bolts. They're a little bit bigger. These are, I don't know what size this is, 3/16, something like 5/32. I think it's 5/32. Now, one thing that you have to be careful with is that you have to get the right size bolt to put in here, because if it's too long, it'll actually go into the breech and your bolt will hit it and it won't fire and you'll damage your bolt, which I did on 2 different bolts because I'm an idiot and I break everything that I touch. All right, now that we've got that off, you'll see that it comes apart and we can start looking at some of the plumbing here. Maybe see. And what I've got going on here is a little T-union. I've got QEV on there because that seems to help it fire when I'm working with a mechanical ion. Disconnect the banjos. And I'm not going to take any farther apart than that, but I will open up the grip. I did have to cut the grips here to get this custom products regulator, not regulator, ASA to fit. I got some paint I got to clean off on here from the last time some kid in rec ball just blew me up. Right, so the grips normally come down and cover the bottom here because the stock ASA is just a duck bill. It sticks out the back, but I had to cut it to get this to fit in there. Other than that, it works just like an ion because there's the little adjustment right in there if you want, just where the trigger is. And this is a little metal piece that you fit a, I don't know what it's called, MSC or something valve. You can get these in it's a clippered valve. It works just like, it's got it's a three-way switch. So what happens is that just like an ion electronic solenoid, when it's in the resting position, air is coming in through this hose. These two, of course, go to the front and back, or from the regulator to the back of the chamber that powers the paintball. But then the T-union has this tube that goes into the switch, and the air in the switch goes through to the front of the bolt and holds the bolt back. And then when you pull the trigger, it pushes a little, I don't know, we call it piston, um, and cuts off the airflow from the front, and that causes the pressure to release through the QEV. Or if you don't have a QEV, you would just go out through one of the holes, probably just back out the way it came, or it just vents somewhere and the bolt shoots. So I'm not going to take that apart any further. Right, so then what you got here is you've got not exactly an ion, an ion body. The donut on the back is flat on both sides instead of just flat on three of its sides. It's flat, and the breech doesn't have any threading on it. And on this particular marker, SP-8, I just have rubber detents and no eye because it's mechanical. So I'm going to go ahead and, take out the bolt, and I'm going to trade it out for a different bolt. This one is a stock bolt that I've had milled by BMC Fabrication. You can find them on Facebook. To have dual O-rings in the back. And I'm going to stop the video here because there's really not much to show, and I don't want this video to be unnecessarily long. But one other thing that I did for this gun is I got the angled feed neck from Master Sconi on eBay, and that allows you to put your loader on here so it's angled over the top of the gun instead of sticking out, so that you can have less profile to get shot. I did have to put a little bit of tape in there to keep it nice and snug on the plastic. I'm kind of afraid this feed neck's going to break because they use cheap plastic back in. All right, that's it. Talk to y'all later.